Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and I've got a full table with me tonight. We've got the crew from Old Salts Fishing, Amy and Tommy Verdensky, and Shane Marita.
Yep, got it right.
Nice. Nailed it. And we're going to be talking all about fishing, inshore, nearshore, offshore, and of course about the Old Salts King of the Beach tournament, the hurricane relief thing they're doing this week, and so much more tonight. So got a great show lined up for you. Don't forget as well, we're going to be giving away free stuff. You want a chance to win $1,500 in free stuff? You came to the right place. We're going to be giving away our 5-hour half day for 2, 10-hour all day for 2, our Hubbard's Marina swag pack, and that 39-hour trip for 1 lucky winner. So join the show. In order to win those free trips, remember you do have to comment on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. You can watch on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Trovo, Twitch, any of the Facebook pages that we're streaming to, but you do have to comment on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream at least once. Make sure you like the video, make sure you're following us on our social media, but as long as you comment one time, you're entered for a chance to win those free trips we're going to be giving away tonight. Then you have to watch live, because randomly throughout the show, we're going to do those giveaways. Your name's going to appear on the screen, and then you've got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address. So you have to watch live, you have to comment once, and we appreciate if you like and share the stream as well. Also want to make sure we give a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. This show is brought to you by our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. Stop by, check them out, tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. They've got killer deals, an amazing selection, really good people over there at Gator Jim's Tackle. So check them out. Also, a big shout out to all of those of you who are in our supporters group. Remember, it's only $4.99 a month. You get access to the private after show every Sunday night that we do after the main show, and you get behind the scenes information, more communication. It's a good time. So join us for the supporters group. Again, only $4.99 for the month. And then finally, with that, we're going to get into the photos. We're going to show you what's going on weather-wise, and then, of course, we're going to be chatting with our panel tonight about Old Salts and all that stuff. I'm excited to have you guys again.
Our panel?
A panel. Panel of experts.
That's putting a lot of weight on it.
So I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are too. First things first, let's get right into the photos and show you what's going on now, because fishing is going very well for us. We're pumped. It is a good time to get out there on the water. Inshore, we're seeing quite a bit of redfish right now. The redfish action has been good from the beaches to the passes and all the way through the upper bay waters. It's nuts out there with the redfish. A lot of the smaller redfish are being more commonly caught. The slot, under slot size, much like the redfish here in this photo, are just rampant around the area. Some bigger fish are being caught occasionally, but they're a little bit harder to find and much less concentrated compared to these more schoolie-sized redfish like the one pictured here. Even from the Johns Pass jetties, they're seeing a lot of these redfish as of late. From soft plastics to live shrimp to cut bait to even white bait, it's all working well to bring in the redfish as of late. A lot of sharks too. The sharks have been nuts. It's been really wild. Today we've spotted a pod of dolphins on our 3-hour shell key shelling trip, and with the pod of dolphins was a group of black-tip sharks cruising along with them.
Wow, I believe it. Even before the storms came through, we were seeing them inside of all the marinas around us. Bull sharks, big bull sharks.
Oh yeah, before the storms, before Helene at Dawn's Dock, we had like straight up Shark Week episode being filmed. Like they would fillet a fish and they'd throw the carcass, and then as soon as the carcass started to disappear in the water, it would just disappear. And they're like, what's going on? So they tied a carcass to a piece of line, casted it out there on the water, and just dragged it across the water, and it was legitimately like a Shark Week show.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was crazy.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 bull sharks like that.
We saw it in the
Deer Beach Marina going towards the docks.
Yep.
Just cruising on the surface?
Yeah.
Yep.
And he had to be every bit of at least 7.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So super sharky out there is the story. A lot of big snook have been seen. I would say Maybe not a lot. A few big snook have been seen. A lot of schoolie-sized snook. A lot of the underslot fish have been very common, very rampant. But some of these guys are getting some big ones. That incoming tide bite has been best, especially before sunrise. But some nice ones being caught in the upper bay and back bay waters closer to those creeks, river mouths, bayous, seeing some of those bigger fish. But these are the size that we're seeing a lot of right now. Super active around the docks and even in the pass, which for this time of year, you don't really expect to see a lot of snook around the pass. But it's like weirdly like summer-esque. I think because of all the freshwater outflows, it kind of pushed those fish back into the pass pretty heavily. Even today, they were catching quite a few snook off the dock, and they caught one slot fish.
Nice.
So keeper snook.
That salinity level definitely makes a difference, though.
Yeah, it's definitely driving their movements pretty heavily right now. But as you can see, the snook bite has been really good around the pass.
Well, one guy, Sasser, always stays consistently on it.
I mean, he's consistently fishing, right?
Well, that's true, too.
I see him
every single
morning.
time. Every single time.
Every morning, John is there, and he's religious. And there's a lot of times I talk to him, he hasn't caught anything that day.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, consistency pays off.
Yeah.
Much like you guys at the Skyway.
Yeah, stay on the water and you'll catch fish.
Yeah, for real. A lot of nice snook, a lot of nice redfish. It's been a stellar bite. And the trout have been really, really active. Much like the snook and the redfish, we're seeing a lot of the kind of average-sized trout, but some big dogs have been caught. Mike was telling me last week he had a buddy that caught a 28 and then a 29-inch trout in the same trip.
Wow, that's big.
Whoa.
Massive, massive trout. So
Gator mouth.
yeah, some really nice fish. I mean, inshore fishing going really well. We're on that new moon, backside of that new moon right now, coming into that quarter moon. So tides are going to start slowing down a little bit. But there's a lot of bait flushing, and as you can see, a lot of actively feeding fish. Then nearshore right now, we're seeing a lot of good action too. It's crazy out there. The lane snapper have been a little bit of a problem. They're biting so well.
No.
If you get out past about 50 to 60 foot of water, we're seeing too many lanes. You can't get past the lanes to get to the hogfish. So if we come inshore, we stop seeing as many lane snapper once we get inside of about 50 foot. So we start getting more of the gray snapper or white grunts. But then you're able to eventually beat the grunts down enough to where you can get to the hogfish. So we've been kind of playing that game on the 10 hour, starting a little deeper, getting some lanes in the box, having some fun, and then coming in a little shallower and slowing down the fishing a little bit, but it gives us a chance for the hogfish. And that's been working well to put some good color and variety in the box. The hogfish are definitely doing better in that shallower water just because we're able to get the bait to them. I mean, they're definitely out there in 60, 70, 80 foot of water, but it's just been hard to get to them through the voracious lane snapper bite. But as you can see, we're getting some nice hogfish, big lane snapper. Yeah, big lanes, a lot of mackerel around. We had some big push of sea bass the other day on a 5 hour half day. They had a big load of sea bass, and those are some of the best eaten around.
They're tasty.
Oh yeah, very good. Right up there with the hogfish. A lot of sharks near shore too, even those little pups. But definitely some big stringers of lane snapper. Wow. Yeah, the half day's been doing well. We ended amberjack season with a nice push of amberjack. Unfortunately, amberjack closed at the end of October, so no more amberjack for us, but we had a good push at the end. Blackfin tuna have been super active offshore along with those kingfish. We haven't seen any kingfish inside of 30, 40 miles, but once you get out there past 40, 50 miles, we're seeing more of the kingfish, and the blackfin tuna have been super active, mixed in with those kingfish offshore. Some nice catch and release gag grouper action, some big scamp as of late, which are always a welcome sight in the mix there. Some nice mutton snapper being caught too, some big mangroves. They had a mangrove snapper we weighed in today that was almost 8 pounds.
Awesome, that's great.
Some stud mangrove snapper. The yellowtail bite has been really good, really solid. Some catch and release red grouper. And of course, the private recreational red snapper season is still open on weekends through Thanksgiving weekend. So if you've got a private boat and you're not exchanging any money, you can keep those red snapper on the weekends, which is nice. But look at that stud.
Wow.
Stud grouper. Just a trophy fish. So some big scamp being caught. Look at that lane snapper. Wow. It's massive lane snapper. Some big sea bass and Captain sea bass. Pretty funny. The old double trouble. Sea bass squared. But as you can see, guys, the fishing is going really well for us, and it's super light loads out there too, which is not a lot of people on the boat, and we're catching a lot of fish. So it's a good time to get out there and take advantage of the hot bite and the lighter loads. But first, let's chat a little bit about the weather, because we unfortunately have a little bit of weather to chat about this week. Definitely seemingly going 0 to 100 for a lot of people, kind of like surprised by the weather. We've been watching this for a little while, so not as surprising, but definitely something that you want to keep your eye on this week. But luckily, it's not going to be a Hurricane Helene or Hurricane Milton type event, so that's good. In order to check the weather, we're going to go to hubbardsmarina.com. We're going to hit our weather links page. We'll start in our 5 and 10 hour forecast area for Wind Finder. Wind Finder is always going to serve you the GFS forecast model, while Windy serves you the Euro model. So that's important to keep in mind when you're looking at forecasts, is especially when there's tropical systems at play, because a lot of times these forecasts can vary drastically. So if you're looking at the Windy app, it'll show you one thing, and then the Wind Finder app will show you something very different, just because of those two different forecast models. But as far as Wind Finder goes, you can see here midweek, we get a little bit of weather. We get a little bit of wind. We get a lot of rain, and we'll look at why. But before we do, the big news is nice weather today. It's blowing out of the east, so it is breezy, but that nearshore water where we're catching those lanes, where we're catching those hogfish, it's still nice weather. We've been able to get out there with that east wind, and tomorrow's the same thing, not looking too bad. And even Tuesday stays windy, but near shore, it's not going to puff up and make it to where we can't go fishing. So Tuesday is looking pretty good. And then Wednesday, going to get a little bit nautical on us into Thursday. Calming down Friday and Saturday for King of the Beach. Looks beautiful.
It does.
It looks
very
picture
fishing.
perfect.
Chamber of Commerce weather.
Chamber of Commerce weather. It's just going to be a little nautical getting there. So this is the reason why we'll pop over to Mike's weather page, spaghettimodels.com, and we're going to hit into tropical tidbits, and we're going to change the regions and show you what's going on down in the western Atlantic. We've got a little bit of tropical stuff hanging out, actually 2 tropical things hanging out, and they're going to combine forces and slide to the northwest into the Gulf of Mexico. So potentially becoming a tropical storm, even Category 1 hurricane, some forecasts are saying. So potentially going to get a little bit strong, but then it enters the Gulf and weakens quite a bit. There's a lot of dry air ahead of it, and there's a lot of wind shear as well. So that's pretty good news on the front of as far as worrying about it getting stronger. So we mentioned earlier the GFS versus the Euro model. So here is the Euro model, and the Euro model keeps this high pressure much stronger, and thus it pushes that system much further west, further away from us, and it keeps it much stronger because that high pressure would shear the system quite a bit more. So there's a pretty big divergence between those two model thinking, where the Euro keeps it further west, and then the GFS model is going to keep it much closer to us and significantly stronger because that high pressure isn't quite as strong. The only bad news is the GFS model has been more reliable this season. So unfortunately, I think the GFS might be closer to what could potentially happen, unfortunately. But there's other models like this Euro AI model that has become super popular this season, and it's done a really good job. The only problem is it's pretty much following very similar the GFS track, but it does keep the storm much weaker. So that's good news, a tropical system. But again, this thing is going to be out of the area by Saturday, pretty much a non-issue. So still, Chamber of Commerce weather for King of the Beach. It's just going to get a little bit nerve-wracking on the ride in, or I mean on the ride up to it. Yeah, which keeps you guys on your toes, huh?
Totally.
We're already on our toes already. I mean, to put together an event, like I said, we've done stupider things, but because of the community diving in so much and saying, hey, we need to do something, we need some normality, we're putting together an event in basically 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that's the message, and that's why I was so happy to hear that you guys were doing this. The message it's not King of the Beach. It's not 700 boats and 4,000 people on the baseball field at Rock Park, right? This is going to be, or 15,000 people, however many you guys normally have. That's a lot. But this will be a smaller event, and there might not be as many boats, especially if the weather's going to get a little scary this week. But it is that message that you guys said. It's about the community. It's about trying to return to that sense of normalcy, and it's huge for our area. I mean, a lot of people experienced total devastation, total loss. I mean, some of the stories you hear are just heart-wrenching about what people have gone through. So
it's unbelievable. I mean, I think we only have one board member that hasn't been affected.
Yeah.
You know, and they live in Tampa and they were in a high rise.
Yeah.
But every single one of our board members has lost something.
Yeah.
Their homes, their businesses, Shane lives in Plant City. He got flooded in Plant City.
Really?
Yeah.
You got flooded in Plant City?
Yeah.
Because you live close to the river?
Well, in between that and I guess we had the Bedard Park Dam open up on us, so
really?
we had a whole lot of standing water as it was beforehand.
Nice.
Yeah, so
solid government infrastructure.
Yeah.
Hard at work.
Super exciting.
Plant City flooded.
Yeah.
One of our guys that works with us, our charter department guy, Jason Hansen, he lives on a boat in Blinds Pass. His boat weathered the storm fine, Helene and then Milton, but he went up to his father's property in Dade City. And so he was hanging out in Dade City behind Helene and Milton as the Marina had gotten damaged. His boat was fine, but the Marina had gotten damaged to the point where he couldn't stay on his boat. So he's at his father's property behind Helene and Milton. Those rivers started to crest. And so it was 10 days after Milton, and he was stuck in the house with water still rising. And he was kayaking out of his house because water was still coming up 10 days after the storm. And that's what's really wild to me is there was such long impacts from the storm. Everybody was so affected, even well inland, like I'm saying, Dade City. For those who are watching who maybe not familiar with Florida geography, Dade City is like the middle of nowhere, I guess, much further north than us, about an hour and 20-minute drive, and it's well off the coast. But it's close to the Withlacoochee River, and the Withlacoochee River is normally like 3 foot, 4 foot, and it was 20 foot deep.
Wow.
Post Hurricane
wild.
Milton.
That's insane.
It's nuts.
That's insane.
Yeah, so it was, like you said, a lot of people affected, but the whole idea behind Old Salt scrambling, throwing this together last minute is getting back to some sense of normalcy, trying to give the community something to gather on, give everybody a chance to come out and hang out, and then you guys are doing a big hurricane relief thing.
Yes. So all of the proceeds from our silent auctions, our raffles, we have a fund that we are going to try to keep kind of local and try to help rebuild some of Madeira Beach because that's where we all live and play and do all this fun stuff. So we need to make sure we're helping our people out.
Yeah.
So that's where it's all going to stay and go to. So.
Between hospitality, there's so many people lost in the hospitality industry right now. And then we've got, our veterans that have been displaced. And then obviously our fishermen who came, I think they were the first guys on site. So, that's what we're really trying to push and
yeah, they
raise
did
some
lose their
funds for
boat.
that.
They were helping others, and then they also had damage too. And then their loss of business just because our tourism is down at the moment.
Yeah.
Until that rebuilds, they're all kind of like, okay.
Yeah, one of your board members, Dan Casey, came by the marina and we were chatting, and he lost 2 homes and 2 businesses during this storm. Luckily, his businesses are back up. He's working on his homes now. But we were chatting about how there is a sentiment among some individuals who are saying, hey, don't come down here. You shouldn't come to Madeira Beach right now. And to me, it's important to get the message out that, hey, the reason Madeira Beach is what it is because of tourism. We have 4,000 citizens in Madeira Beach, and we get 4 million visitors in a year. And the reason Madeira Beach the reason Florida doesn't have an income tax is because of our tourism income and our bed tax. And the main reason we have the beautiful beaches, 2 of the top 5 beaches in America, in North America, is because of our tourism bed tax and the tourism income. So while I understand people are devastated, they lost everything. I mean, we lost a lot in the storm too, but it's important to spread the message that we still need people to come down. Things are open. There's a lot of hotels open.
They're opening every day.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Every day I'm hearing more and more open, so that's such a positive thing.
Yeah, it's quickly coming back, a lot quicker than even I anticipated. I was impressed how fast John's Pass has bounced back, and even driving up and down Gulf Boulevard. It's crazy how fast they got it picked up and how quick the sand's going away.
Well, I do know our city has been really hyper-focused on getting our beach open and getting Gulf Boulevard cleaned up.
Yeah.
Some of the housing and stuff is going to be after that, but they're going to get there, and they're doing a good job.
They're doing the best they can, that's for sure. It's been a little bit of a nightmare.
It's 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, every day. I left the marina on Halloween, and I went down to the beach.
Trick-or-treating?
I was going back to the house to go to trick-or-treat at the house, but I rode down Gulf Boulevard, and I was like, I didn't see a soul.
Yeah.
You know, it was the most eerie feeling, and I got to that area right before Reddington, the old pier there, and it looked like fog was coming over the street, and I realized it was debris because the wind was blowing, and it was blowing the debris off some of those piles, and it was weird.
Yeah.
Like I went by two sheriff's officers, 1 car, and 3 people walking.
Yeah.
On Halloween.
And the tumbleweed.
Yeah.
If we had tumbleweeds, I probably would have seen one, but it was wild. Like I said, you can't fathom what's really happening out there, and that's one of the big things that we're trying to get across. Because a lot of people too, they're not really talking about our area.
Yeah.
You know, nationwide, they're hitting. Okay, this is where it went in. This is where it went in, and it's unprecedented. The entire west coast of Florida.
Yeah.
Got knocked out.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Helene caused flooding over the greatest swath of the United States that I think has ever happened.
Yeah.
I mean, as it came up, Little Gasparilla Island, Boca Grande, they experienced horrendous flooding down there. Then it got worse and worse and worse all the way through the Big Bend, and then God, what happened to those people in North Carolina and Tennessee?
And they weren't expecting it at all.
Whole towns were
gone,
decimated, gone. Wiped off the universe. I mean, just insane. So it's great that you guys are putting together a hurricane recovery, hurricane relief thing, and everything that Old Salts and King of the Beach is about this week. Again, the captain's meeting is this week, Thursday night, November 7th, and the actual fishing day is this Saturday, November 9th. And you guys have a little bit of a different location, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So normally it's at Rock Park in Madeira Beach at the baseball field. You guys are going to be at the beautiful, pristine,
brand new facility at Pro Marine.
Yeah, Jim Nassett and his guys at Pro Marine are hosting you guys, and then you have even equally as beautiful landing location in the Tiki Docks over there. A lot of people don't know about that place, and they should. That place is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Bay Pines. It's one of those treasures that people don't know about. Like you said, it's hidden back there. You see the mobile home park in front of it. You're like, what do you mean there's a bar back there?
Right.
Marina. There's a great bar, and they have really good wings.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. Bay Pines Marina, the Tiki Docks there, that's where boats are going to be pulling up. And Shane, you told me you're running some golf carts?
Yeah, there's going to be golf carts running fish back and forth, or not back and forth, but just to the way in. Yeah,
you got to carry them out.
Yeah.
We can't transport people. We're working on that, but we definitely we'll tag the fish and get the fish up there, and we're working on some of the guys that have been displaced, obviously, from the beach that do that run the golf cart tiki huts and stuff like that to help.
Running people is difficult with golf carts, man. The golf cart insurance is nuts.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's the problem.
We had a golf cart at the marina, and it got stolen once, and then the insurance was just insane. It's 10 times more than a vehicle to carry people. It's nuts.
Yes.
We've had one stolen before.
Yeah. we had a wrapped Hubbard's Marina one with like 17 logos on it, and it was red and green. Even the seats were red and green. Someone stole it. It got found in like 24
I was gonna
hours.
say, how could they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
noticeable.
silly.
Yeah.
It was real smart. Pretty funny. But so the hurricane relief thing at the King of the Beach. So if I was to go to King of the Beach and wanted to support the hurricane relief, anything you do there, basically,
Yes,
all the income
yes.
is funneling back
Have
to
a
it.
drink, eat something, buy a shirt, silent auction, raffle tickets, or straight up donate. But we also have a few vendors out too. Again, supporting our local community is great because that helps them too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, come out, have fun, hang
Yeah.
out.
That's kind of mostly what the premise is, right?
Yes.
It's like, and it was a lot of the people that did lose a whole lot that they wanted to have this event.
Yeah.
They're the ones asking for something to go and do that's not peeling off drywall, going and cutting down trees.
Yeah.
Like all of the rebuild stuff. They want to take a pause and go and have some fun with their friends.
Yeah.
So even if you're not fishing, come on out and just have some fun.
Yeah.
That's the general premise.
And if you're not local, we do live stream,
Yep.
the whole event on Saturday. That's one of our biggest pushes. We're going to do a webathon, if you will, where you can donate, and also our King Raffle is going on.
We have an online raffle as well.
That has got some great opportunities.
trip to
win.
Costa Rica.
Costa
Nice.
Rica trip.
Nassau.
Yep.
To Nassau, yeah, our friends in
Yes.
Nassau.
I'm gonna be entering that.
Yeah. Well, and and some of the other prizes too is Bahia sunglasses. They're giving away a bunch of pairs of sunglasses through the whole weekend, and if you come out, half of the money that you spend will go directly into the relief fund for
That's
every pair of
awesome.
glasses. So that's
That's
pretty
awesome.
cool
So
too.
you can get a nice pair of new glasses and support hurricane relief
Yes.
all in the same.
Yep.
And like I said, it's staying right here.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, I think, that we really want to push. And, just like take our bar situation. Mahofers always supports our bar. They're still sponsoring it.
They don't have a bar.
They
They
don't
don't
have
have
a
a bar.
bar right now. And they're paying their people to come help us, to help
That's
everybody
awesome.
else.
That's
and
really cool.
it's I want to say girls, but the staff wants to be there.
Yeah.
And be a part of it, and
Chris is
see
there, too,
people.
it's
awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
He'd be mad at you.
Yeah, I know. I said others, but Chris, that whole group is just unbelievable. Eddie's group, same thing.
Yeah.
They lost 2 or 3 restaurants. Their group still, they're pouring their beer. They still want to be out there, and they want to see people, and that's the biggest thing. I think that's been lost, is that, hey, if I went to this bar every day, people have routines.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's weird, is that everybody's been displaced somewhere or another.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a restaurant, it could be a bar, it could be your school.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, we know we're going to see people that we like, that we know, that we're going to have fun with, and just forget about whatever we need to for the
Yeah.
day.
Amen.
And that's what it's about,
And
So.
I did want to tell you this, when we get the form up and live, which right now we're working on collecting funds for it, but basically we're going to be giving back, and we have a form to fill out, so if anybody in our area and has needs, they can sign up right online.
Oh,
and we're
cool.
going to go through the forms and by need give it
Well,
out.
we've got 14 staff members
gonna
that got hit pretty hard, so
Yes.
we'll definitely get them signed up for sure. And also, we're going to be giving away some stuff there through donations to Old Salts to help raise funds too. So you could go in, and I don't know how they're going to do it, whether it's in raffles or the silent auction, but they're going to have some Hubbard's Marina trips that you could potentially win at a discounted rate as well. So not only do you get to be involved in the relief, but you also could potentially get some fishing trips out
That's
of it.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's going to be a great event for sure. Again, November 7th, this week, Thursday, is the captain's meeting. Even if you're not fishing the tournament, the captain's meeting is a great time. It's always a good party. And then November 9th is the actual tournament day. Are you guys going to be doing anything else besides those 2 nights? Because I know under normal circumstances you guys do a lot, but I don't want to put you on the spot, but I also don't want to miss anything.
Sights to be seen here.
So we'll find out.
Normally
Yes.
we do have a Friday night, and it's our community night, but being displaced and
Yeah.
the timing of putting it together, we're working on seeing if we can keep it or not.
I gotcha.
As soon as we know, which should be tomorrow, we will let everyone know if we're going to have some
Okay.
more fun and more ways to give back. So
So pay attention to the Old Salt's social media is what you're saying.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, let's go ahead and do our first giveaway tonight, and we'll keep having some conversations around all the good stuff that we're talking about. So we got a 5-hour half day to give away, a 10-hour all day to give away, a swag pack, and the 39-hour. Let's go ahead and do our 10-hour all day trip for 2 guests. 10-hour all day trip for 2 guests. Lucky winner is...
No.
Shane Brown in Auburndale. Shout out to Shane Brown. That's Imperial, Polk County. Shane, you got 5 minutes or less to text us your full home address. Full home address to the phone number on the screen. That's how you claim your free trip, improve your watching live. So you got 5 minutes or less. Go ahead and shoot us your full home address. We'll get you that trip out in the mail. Certificate out in the mail. Also, if you guys have questions that you want answered live during the show, you can text us in at that same phone number on the screen your questions, and we'll get into some of your questions tonight as well. So don't forget, if you have a question, don't forget to text it into the phone number on the screen, because if you're commenting on TikTok or on Instagram or on Trovo or Twitch, we can't always see your comments because things are going by too fast. We're streaming to so many different platforms, it's hard to keep up with. So make sure if you have a question you want answered live during the show, shoot us a text message to the phone number on the screen. And as Josh starts to pull up those questions for us, I have a question. What inspired you guys to choose Pro Marine? Was it Jim who approached you guys, or how did it end up there? It's close to your home base?
That was
That's
one
part of
reason.
it.
And then, I mean, we started looking at different locations, obviously, right away. Rock Park is devastated.
Yeah.
The power's shot. I mean, the rec center's destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of stuff going on. Plus, the city staff is obviously trying to get everybody back to you know.
Yeah.
Right.
They're
remove
focused
trash.
on other
Yeah,
things.
other things. So we started looking around, and we looked at some parks. We looked at Patel's Park. We looked at Seminole Park.
Jumping
And
through the hoops in 2.5
Yeah.
weeks with all the
Parks
permits and
is tough.
regulations is really difficult. So that's kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parks aren't easy to work with.
And then we happened to, because Pro Marina is next door to our headquarters and office, we just happened to go over there and we realized, I'm like, that is humongous back
It's
there, especially if we can get
huge.
it to move. So we went over and asked if they wanted to have it.
Yeah, and that's kind of where it went from there. It was. I mean, like I said, doing what we're doing as quick as we're doing it, and everybody that, like I said, our entire board has been displaced somewhere or another, or helping people all the time, and it just seemed easy.
Easiest.
Yeah.
Close,
And,
easy.
yeah,
And still
you know.
close to home with Madeira Beach, too.
Yeah.
And it's so cool that they are so willing. And anytime you ask Jim and his team to do something like that for the community, they're always willing to step up.
They're
And,
always there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
no.
other part of it. They've been supporters of our organization for at least 25 years that I know of, if not more, and always very good to our community.
Yeah.
So we gotta,
if you're looking for Yamaha or Mercury mechanics, their parts department's crazy. They sell sea hunt boats. They're good people over there for sure. Awesome. All right, do we have a question, Josh? Best gear to bring on the 12-hour night trip? I would say definitely a spinning rod. I mean, if you're going fishing on a 12-hour night trip for mangrove snapper and 100 to 120 foot of water, I would say a spinning rod would be my bet. 4,000 series spinning reel, maybe 30 to 40 pound test leader, like a four-aught hooks probably, and a double snelled thread fin chunk. It would be what I'd prefer.
that sounds like fun.
What about you, Tommy?
I'm right there with you. That's
Right
what I
there.
do.
Shane?
I mean, the double snell hook. I mean, especially for mangs, that's the way to go.
I'm definitely
in my
for
book.
the double hook, but I love my conventional.
I like
do it all the
conventionals.
time, and I'm just so used to it. But
For me, if I'm deeper than about 100, 120 foot, it's always going to be conventional. But for those 12-hour night trips, we're kind of on that cusp. And
Yep.
sometimes, if the bite's a little bit picky, that spinning rod makes it a little bit more fun.
agreed.
And you can feel the bite a little bit
You
better,
feel the
too.
bite a lot better.
Yeah.
You know.
Me
But-
personally, I like putting meat on the boat, so I'll probably stick with a lighter conventional. Go closer to like a kingfish rod, and then you can
Yeah.
still have your fun. It's just you got more cranking power in case you get something bigger that decides to come and swim by.
It's a valid point. Definitely.
Bring 'em
Always
both.
nice to be
Bring 'em
over
both.
prepared.
That's right. Bring
Have
'em
the
both.
power and not
Right,
need it.
right.
It's always good. But yeah, I mean, definitely 30, 40-pound test, about 4/0 hooks is where you want to go. Probably about a 2-ounce lead is what I would suggest. Plus, on our website, if you go to hubbardsmarina.com, you hit fishing trips and then hit trips. All the different trips are listed, and they have really in-depth tackle recommendations and all that stuff. Josh always yells at me because I put too much copy on the website.
And
So
if you don't
it's
know,
there.
you guys always have plenty of rods there. If you want to rent one, do
Yeah.
that too and add it on, right?
Yeah, you can rent one. You can have all your tackle supplied, all that.
That's what makes it so lovely when you fish on your boat. You can really go if you just on a whim decide to go. You can just show up, and get
show
on.
up. All you need is the shirt on your back,
That's right.
and you're ready to rock and roll. We can provide everything. Or how our business model is set up, some people can get a little bit frustrated because like, oh, I have to pay to rent a rod and I have to pay for live bait. But the thing is, we try to keep the ticket price as low as possible.
Yep.
Someone like Shane comes out who fishes all the time on the Skyway. You have all the tackle. You have all your bait. You're going to go out and catch your live bait. So you're going to show up with your food, your rods, your tackle, your bait, and you can get the price a little cheaper. Whereas someone who's from out of state who doesn't have the tackle or just wants to make it easy and show up and have everything provided, it works for them too.
That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that grill is seasoned.
Oh,
That
I
grill's
was gonna say, you
seasoned
don't
well.
need
best,
to
It's seasoned
best
well.
cheeseburgers in the Gulf. That's
Butch
for
will
sure.
hook you up.
So someone did ask in the comments, I kind of saw it mentioned, Amy and Tommy have both been on the show before. They are the face of Old Salts. You guys have been involved for a long time.
20 plus, yeah.
20 plus years. Shane is also on the board of Old Salts, and Shane is also part of the Skyway Misfits. For those of you who aren't aware, your counterpart, Jayway, and yourself are the Skyway Misfits, and Grouper Mike too,
And
right?
Grouper Mike's in there too.
All right, so
Yeah.
the three of you guys, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
definitely.
we can't leave out Chidi. Yeah, she's wheelchair bound. However, she helps the most on the social media.
Yeah, she drives it
yeah,
for sure.
yeah, for sure.
The brains of the
Yeah,
operation, if
yeah.
you will. That's
And
awesome.
they are misfits.
Yeah, for sure.
Big love.
So definitely a very fishy cat there on the end as well. And you guys catch crazy fish out there. Have you been catching any kingfish yet? Just all mackerel so far.
So here's the problem: Southside Skyway is still closed.
Still closed.
Still closed. North side is open. We've been seeing some mackerel and stuff come
What's
back.
the
from
deal with
there.
that, man? Like, people don't fish the north side?
Well, you can. It's just
You guys
smaller.
don't, though.
It's smaller. You get
You don't get
really
out as far.
packed up anywhere you go on that bridge.
Oh, I got
You
you.
know, so Southside you can have like if people are too congested in one area, you can move around a little bit.
So take the crowding out of it. Would fishing be similar?
Fairly similar. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not
It's just-
necessarily
it-
that fishing
Flow
is
though,
better.
right?
Right. So you got a little bit deeper water over on the north side than you do on the south side. So fishing style is going to be a little bit more different. The leader size and stuff that you can use is going to be a little bit different, you know. But it's just like anywhere else that you go fishing. It's something that you spend a little bit of time with and you can figure it out. It's not something that you can just go there and you're like immediately going to be dialed in.
Yeah, 100%. So if you were to go out to the Skyway 10 different times, would you fish the north side twice, or would you fish the south side every time?
Depends on the time of year.
Oh,
Depends on the time of
see?
year.
I got you.
Yeah.
Different times of year, different things are running.
So yeah, well, I mean, it's simple logic, right? Shallow water gets really hot during the summer,
yeah.
right? You get a little bit deeper water, you get a little bit cooler water, and the fish are a little bit more frisky.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you fish the north side more in the summer, south side more.
Well, like
All
I said, it just depends on what you're going for.
I got you.
know, if we go shark fishing, the north side's a great place to go. It drops off way faster. Same reason why the kingfish kind of come through the north side a lot more.
I got you.
Because it's closer to that channel.
Interesting. Learning a lot about the Skyway.
Yeah.
Awesome. Do you have another question, Josh? What do we got? Have the date been set? Has the date been set for Gag Grouper 2025? So 2024 isn't over, guys. But yes, we have been getting questions about 2025 fishing seasons. Actually, this week we have a Gulf of Mexico Fishery Management Council. It's in St. Pete this week.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to be downtown St. Pete at the Hilton. So you can go to a golf council meeting if you want to be bored to tears. You can join me at the golf council meeting this week, Monday through Thursday.
And bang your head against a wall.
Yes, yes. Well, it's gonna get even worse, guys. Before it gets better. Yeah, there's a document floating around to have a fixed closed season for scamp and black grouper.
Whoa.
Yeah. Super fun news. Yes.
What day are they going to cover that?
They're going to be covering that Tuesday morning and then public comment, but it's early stages of the document right now. It's first draft, so it'll be, even if they move quickly, 2 years before we see that rule on the water.
Tuesday morning.
But
Yeah.
it's super frustrating that that's
you gonna
even
be?
being discussed.
I was gonna say,
Probably
can
going to
we-
be over there.
Any
I
chance we
want to
can
at least
stop
listen
that?
in on what they have to say about that.
Yeah,
Because I'd like to figure out what their reasoning is for that closure.
It's a really complicated reasoning. Essentially, there was the way that's the commercial fishery has been managed is they have these obviously the IFQ system, but the IFQ system is only in place for certain species, and then other species they lump into these complexes, shallow water, deep water complexes, and now they've done a stock assessment on scamp, and they don't have enough science on yellowmouth, so they lump yellowmouth and scamp grouper together in a stock assessment, and essentially they're concerned about the population health of these scamp and yellowmouth groupers. So now they're trying to manage that species or that two species a little bit more strict. But because they're just thrown into this complex in the commercial fishery, there's no real good landing numbers.
Yeah.
So they're trying to parse them out of the complex. But in order to do that, it creates huge problems. And they've been trying to grapple with this now for like 2 years. And now it's coming to the point like, hey, you guys need to do something now. So now they're just, well, let's close it for 6 months. And we'll see how that
The
how that
6 month
helps our
closure
data.
doesn't just sit at 6 months ever.
Yeah. So it's being discussed this week, which will be interesting. And then also lane snappers up for discussion. And this is actually something I've been driving is I want to see a lane snapper minimum size limit increase. Right now it's 8 inches for a lane snapper, and that's too small.
You want to go up to 10?
Yeah, I want to see it like mangrove snapper,
Right.
where
Okay.
it's 10 inches inshore or 10 inches in state waters, and then 12 inches offshore in federal waters. So it would always be 12 inches on our boats. That's a bigger fish. They're already bigger in general, and that'll cut down on fishing mortality enough, meaning some will get thrown back. So that would hopefully stop these stupid 2-month closures that we see at the end of the year sometime on lane snapper. This year we're barely missing a lane snapper closure. We might overfish lanes. We've overfished lanes 3 out of the last 4 years. And if that keeps happening, we're going to see lane snapper start having even stricter rules. So I'd like to do something preventative. It's a healthy fishery. We're seeing a lot of them. Let's increase the size limit and stop us from hitting the quota so we don't see these clamp downs on lane snapper in a healthy fishery, right?
Yeah.
Similar
So-
to the hogfish situation that we went through just a couple years back.
Exactly.
Why are you keeping an 8-inch fish?
Yes, yeah, and similar to the 18-inch redfish, right? It's like that's a small fish to be keeping. So it's all about trying to be preventative, but proactive and preventative for sure. But it's going to be an interesting meeting with that scamp grouper and black grouper deal, and they're really pushing hard on the whole IFQ system and trying to do some help, but whenever the federal government tries to help, it generally doesn't go well. And they've been trying to help for about 16 years. Since the IFQ system went into place, they've been trying to help, and it just continually causes a lot of issues. So it should be an interesting week for sure at the Gulf Council meeting. But what's our next question? Can you troll at night? I would say no generally, but people have done it, and they've done it successfully. Like those glow-in-the-dark plugs. Kingfish do bite
was
really
gonna say,
well at night.
I caught the largest kingfish ever at about 2 a.m.
Yeah.
Yep, 32 pounds. And
If you're
it is what it
fishing at
was.
night and you've got a flat line out, or even if you're dropping bait down or reeling bait up or jigging, we catch a lot of kingfish at night. But trolling form's a little bit different.
So,
Yeah.
you know, you're talking like Bill Miller and those guys, you know, some of the local legends. On a full moon, they would always drag mullet across the beach, and they would tell me stories of 65, 70-pound kingfish that they would get. only on a full moon.
Them are
And
fishing
then-
stories.
Yeah, they probably are.
Amy's
His
calling
grandfather was
BS.
there. I mean, Mark was there, but I mean, several of them say. I mean,
If Bill Miller
live
said it,
mullet,
I believe it.
live mullet, and on a full moon with a downrigger and just scraping the bottom.
On a
Yeah,
downrigger.
On a downrigger too.
On a
Well, that's. I
downrigger.
mean, it's old school.
See, I believe it completely without a doubt on the full moon for sure.
That's
But
crazy.
more based off of like surface baits.
Yep.
Putting it on a downrigger is
Whose phone is that?
I don't
Is
know.
that my phone? It's somebody's phone.
Somebody's
Somebody's
fine.
not mine.
Mine's here. So.
But definitely, I would believe it. But a downrigger, a fish moving at night, going trolling speed,
That's a lot.
that seems
Yeah.
I
far
thought it was-
fetched.
Because
I
the
thought
mullet,
figure eight
mullet
was
are pretty
weird,
dark
man.
on the back. You know,
Yeah.
putting it down on the bottom like that. You know, fish are pretty often swimming a little
Yeah.
bit mid column. I would.
I didn't
assume
believe in the whole
anyways.
figure eight thing either.
Yes.
You know, and I saw that work, and I
The
was like,
figure
whoa.
eight thing.
You know,
For those of
that-
you who don't know, the figure eight thing is essentially reeling, taking a big plug, like a 8-inch plug, and leaving it 2 feet from the tip of your rod, and going up underneath a dock with a broomstick of a conventional rod and making figure eights in the water with a plug. And it sounds as stupid as it looks.
Like I said, I didn't believe that either.
But it works.
You know,
You'll
it
have
works.
huge snook explode on it, and it's wild to see. And I've done it before, and it was a lot of fun. But it's exhilarating.
Yeah.
It is.
And it does work.
It does work. You know, it's just one of those things that, like,
That's
what?
old school, though.
Yeah,
Not-
that's what I'm
you don't
saying.
see
This
people
one-
do that
No,
anymore.
that's what I'm saying. And these guys are old school. I mean, but they're legends, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, you did what? Mullet? Skipping the bottom at night on a full moon?
And back in the day,
Yeah.
a couple years
Yeah.
ago, when I was working on the 39 hour, there was a guy who wanted to troll on the ride in. I'm like, dude, it's dark. There's no reason to troll. Like, just go to bed. Fishing's done. And he was insistent, and he had a glow-in-the-dark plug, like one of those lipped diving plugs that had a little strip of glow in it. He was like, look, it glows. I'm going to catch something. I was like, whatever, dude. And he put it out there, and sure enough, he caught a blackfin tuna. And then he stayed up the rest of the night trolling, didn't catch anything else.
Only
that
takes
one, though,
one.
that's fine.
It only takes one.
But
you know?
it did work. It did work. So I'm not saying it doesn't work, but not a lot of people do it.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
the sample size is not large enough to give you a definite answer. But you could, on a 39-hour trip, troll on the way in.
And
But
most of the people are wiped out by the time the trip's over. You
Yeah.
know, they stayed up all night
Yeah.
the day before and all the way through the day.
you're speaking from experience.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the best
You
sleep.
guys are both on
I
the
was like,
third.
I
Yeah,
was
she was there
too.
too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you were on the trip as
Yeah.
well. I forgot about that. Yeah, it's to me the best sleep you get on the ride in from a 39-hour trip. You finish fishing, you have that big meal, you take your shower, and you crawl into that bunk.
I skipped the shower.
Yeah. The shower, the boat shower is not a 5-star hotel shower, but getting a little bit clean after fishing
I
for
would have
20
gotten in the
hours.
shower. I just fell asleep before the line went down.
You were that tired. I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah. No, it definitely it's a good rest on the ride in. Rocks you right to sleep.
Yeah.
All
You
right.
get Amy near a diesel. She's
I
going to
sleep
sleep.
like a
yeah.
I slept so well on that trip on the way in.
Oh yeah. I sleep pretty good on the way out a lot of times too, but it's a little bit harder to sleep on
I
the
think I
way
did
out.
that too.
Yeah.
No, because you were busy playing Pokemon Go with Rocky the whole way out.
Sleep on the way out and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And while you fish. But it is definitely a little bit harder to sleep on the way out because the excitement level and
Oh, absolutely.
getting prepared and just looking forward to starting fishing. All right, next question. Are Sputnik or no roll flat sinkers good on the all-day trip to avoid tangles with other fishermen? No. If you have something different than everybody else, you're going to get tangled more. If everybody used the same size lead and the same size line, we would have almost no tangles. But if you start dropping down lighter line than someone else, or you fish braided line, everybody's got mono around you, or you're fishing a 10-ounce lead sinker when everybody else around you is using a 4-ounce, you will cause tangles. You
That's
want to-
fishing with a buddy.
yeah, right. You want to be as close to similar tackle size, lead size as your neighbors, and you'll have much less tackle or much less tangles. And we fish egg sinkers. That's the way to go. That slip lead is really important because it allows that line to move freely through the lead. You're going to feel the bite better.
Give you a little scope on it.
Yeah, exactly. And what's a Sputnik lead? Is that like one of those
Spider
pompano?
weights.
Yeah,
spider weights.
with the prongs sticking
Yep,
out of it.
yep.
They use those for like pompano fishing, right?
Yeah. Whenever they do fish bites and like the little 2-rig,
Yeah, I've seen that before.
we use them for shark fishing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
When you're shark fishing from the Skyway and catching all those big sharks, you
No,
guys
not
aren't
from the
kayaking
Skyway.
bait.
We're talking about like off the
Beach.
beaches. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
off the beaches. Off the Skyway, you float out a bait or free line a bait.
Yeah.
Do
On the
pretty
beach,
good.
you're kayaking it out.
Yeah.
Have you seen those new drones? The
Yeah.
boat drones?
Uh-huh.
Zook got one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's super excited about it. He's been like, yeah, as soon as I get that battery, we're going.
He's been waiting months for that.
Yeah.
Months. Most patient guy I've ever met. I would have freaked
Well,
out.
he doesn't
by
have
now.
a choice. I wouldn't say that's patient. He just doesn't have a choice.
China.
Eagerly waiting.
All right, let's do another giveaway, and then we'll get back to our questions here. We did our 10-hour giveaway. Let's go ahead and do the Hubbard's Marina swag pack giveaway. Remember to send us your T-shirt size along with your home address for this one. Lucky winner of the swag pack is Patrick. Congratulations, Patrick from Minnesota. Make sure you send us your full home address and your T-shirt size, and we'll get you out.
You're not
that
going to try to say his
Hubbard's
last name?
No. No. I've butchered enough last names on this show that I've learned my lesson. If I can't guess it with some semblance of confidence, I'm not going to try it. That's why I asked Shane how to pronounce his name
I do the
before
same
we
thing.
started.
You're good. I mean,
That's why we make you watch the show, so that way you know it's your last name.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
It's,
He knows his last name.
yeah.
Congrats, Patrick. All right, so next question, what do we got here? Would you recommend... Oh. Do you think king mackerel will be coming close to shore with the recent hurricanes? I don't think the recent hurricanes, in my opinion, and then I'll let you guys weigh in, I don't think the hurricanes have as much to do with it as it is water quality. What we've noticed in the past, when there is some water quality issues, I feel like the kingfish kind of go around it. They're smart, and as soon as they stick their nose in there, they're like, yeah, we'll go around this area, kind of skip it. That seemingly is what happens every time this is going on.
It does. I mean, that's the same thing. Like you said, the water clarity, the salinity level, all those things you got to take in consideration. But you run right on that line, that's typically where they're right there.
Yeah,
You know?
on the line where
Yeah.
those watercolors
Yeah,
change. And you brought up a good point. Even if you took any water quality issues out of the conversation, the salinity level, I mean, we are still, to this day, purging an exorbitant amount of fresh water out of our estuaries. And John's Pass is like brackish water.
Oh,
It's
wow.
nuts. I was at the beach yesterday and today with our kids. My son got really into metal detecting for some odd reason.
Okay.
Fun.
Yeah, the
Good
little
to-
5-year-old. He's obsessed with pirate treasure. And,
Of course.
yeah, so we're metal detecting a lot. And right now is a real good time to be metal detecting
Yes,
on the
it
beach
is.
because there's a lot of stuff to find. And so he's having a blast finding metal caps and all this stuff. But long story short, I'm watching, and there's a ton of action on the beach. Like bait's
Bait's everywhere.
Mackerel, you're seeing snook. I mean, there's a ton of fish. The water does not look great, though. Like,
No,
walking
no.
the beach, you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that. But there's fish everywhere.
We had a gar at Madeira Beach Marine,
Really.
just cruising.
We a lot of times will see that. We had a freshwater turtle on the beach between Helene and Milton. There was a
That's fun.
freshwater turtle, like one of those red ear turtles.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is because I don't know my freshwater turtles. But I remember that too. I forget what storm it was, but it was one of the big hurricanes a few years ago. We had a gar show up at the dock, and I took a picture of it, and it was the first time I got to post a fish ID in Tampa Bay Fishing Club because I had no idea what this fish was.
It's bizarre.
It
You're
is.
just cruising. You're
Yeah.
like, what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen a gator in the pass or around the pass.
I'm sure they're up in the
There was
bayou.
one at Gandy Beach. Did you see
Yeah.
that? That was a big boy.
And then you had a bunch of like when it flooded over right when before the dam broke at Seminole Lake there, it started flooding that community back there 1st. There's gators all over people's yards.
Oh wow.
And they're like, hey, go outside, check it out. Like, but he's like, what? You know.
Yeah, I got to pull a gator out of my
was
neighbor's
gonna say,
pool.
Yeah. So I mean,
Gator out of your neighbor's pool?
Yeah.
Wow.
She came over, and she's like older lady. She came over and she was like, "Hey, I think I have something in my pool." I was like, "Really?" She's like, "Yeah, I think there's a snake." It was a snake. It was a bunch of those American grass eels,
Oh wow.
and then a gator, like 4.5-foot gator.
What?
Yeah.
That's
well, you had
wild.
crawfish in your yard.
I did have crawfish in my yard too.
He could have brought them to the boil.
Yeah, you're holding out on us.
You
That's
know?
funny.
It's wild right now. It's crazy. Like
Yeah.
I said, the fish, the bait's everywhere though.
Yeah.
You look at bait and mullet and everything, it's there. It's
Well, who
stacked.
were we having a conversation with the other night? They said that there was actually a line of baits stacked out where the water cleaned up, and it was just absolutely loaded with fish.
Yeah, and those areas where that line cleans up is often salinity or turbidity is what's holding that dirty water back.
Yeah.
So it's either a pressure change or a thermocline or something that's holding those fish against it too. It's a good area to look.
That's what they like. You know,
Yeah.
it's an ambush point, and they hang out right there.
Yeah, and it works. That's where everybody's gonna be running for King of the Beach.
They're gonna be right on the edge of
Right
our
on the
marks.
edge. Right on the
I know they are.
edge. It's going to be interesting.
That 30-mile boundary is gonna be,
Right on the border.
you
Yep.
know. So it's but like I said, and everybody's like, oh, we're not seeing fish caught right now.
Yeah,
People are catching fish. Just people. There aren't that many people fishing.
Ching.
yeah,
You know, like the wreck guys aren't running. It's hard to find fuel.
yeah.
You know, so I mean, they're conserving fuel. They're doing, you know, they got other things going on.
Well, Madeira Beach Marina has fuel,
Yes.
right?
They have fuel, yeah.
Yeah,
and
and Don's Dock should hopefully be back up this week.
that's what I
I was
hear.
gonna say more and more are
Heard
getting ready.
rumor of that.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
trying to shoot for King of the Beach, but I don't know. We were told the 13th they'll definitely be there, but we're on first available this week. So all the parts are in. So I'm hoping and praying they get out to us between now and
It's
Thursday.
amazing, like talking to everybody about what, like you don't even realize, like each individual pump's made different.
Yeah,
Like you think, okay, there's a warehouse of pumps. I'm going to grab this pump and we're going to install it. No, it's how far your fuel's coming from, how big the pump needs to be, this, that,
And they're
and the other.
expensive.
Everything's got to
Yeah.
be.
They're very
Yeah,
expensive.
I mean, it's like everything's got to be stainless steel.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's wild. Like you just don't think about that. You
And
know?
I wasn't as hip to our fuel system as I should have been, maybe, but it's crazy to get a POS, a point of sale, to communicate with a pump the way they do in gas stations. You need a computer, a server, what's called a D box, which changes the communication between the computer
Yeah.
to a next gen, then the next gen to the Vita route, then from the Vita route to the jackets, and then from the jackets to the pump. So you're talking about like
A lot of going on
Yeah,
there.
10
whole lot of
different
stuff.
boxes
Yeah.
So they
that
can
have to
talk.
communicate, and they all have to have internet. They all have to have power. It's and they were all gone at
They're
Don's
gone.
Dock. It
Yeah.
was all
All
gone. So yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting rebuilding, but we're almost there.
Yeah,
Hopefully this week.
They'll be better.
Yeah,
You know?
that's right.
yeah.
So
It's fresh.
It's fresh.
Yeah.
It's
we
fresh
can
and
only
new.
go up from here.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see. What other questions do we have? You got anything else, Josh?
Not that I'm seeing student discounts.
I don't think that was before the show.
Yeah.
5:30. All right, so we are getting pretty close to the end anyway. Let's do our 5-hour giveaway, and then we'll let you guys wrap up with anything you want to mention and close up on. So, and we got to mention Fishing for Hope too.
Yep.
Yes.
Let's find out who won our 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2. Lucky winner is Robert Allen from New York. See, that's the last name I'm down with. I can pronounce that.
You went straight in for it.
Robert Allen.
Verdansky.
I think it's a lean.
Yeah.
All right, so Fishing for Hope is coming up November 23rd. These guys will be there with us at
Absolutely.
Fishing for Hope. That is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That is 2609 North Rome Avenue in Tampa. It's the holiday tent at Metropolitan Ministries. It's a toy drive. It's a food drive. Old Salts has been a part of Fishing for Hope for many, many, many years, and we're excited.
Sank the boat.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I haven't had a chance. I was going to talk to Jim Nassett and Pro Marine about bringing a boat out there, but then the storms all happened, so I didn't have a chance to really talk to him about it. But I'm sure he'll be willing to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
And it'll be cool.
He just got a new fancy boat too, so he's all excited about that.
He got his new yellow
Personal.
No.
Front runner.
Front runner.
front runner.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saw him at Home Depot. Jim Nassett is the owner of Pro Marine. I saw him at Home Depot, and I know where he lives, and I know his house got it.
Yes.
Oh,
So I was like, man, I'm thankful he did me a favor and got us a trailer before the storm so I could get my father-in-law's boat out. So it was super nice of him. So I was thanking him for that favor, but then also solemnly approaching him because I knew he just had his house destroyed. And dude, this guy was so chipper and cheery. I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like, what's wrong with what's going on? And then he tells me, he was like, yeah, my house is pretty much destroyed, but I get my new boat tomorrow.
Yeah.
He was pumped about his new
Oh, yeah.
boat.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And I thought it looked big out of the water. It looked bigger in the
In the
water.
water.
and it's a 44,
42, I think.
42.
One of them. Yeah, I mean,
Front
it's down in
runner.
Lauderdale right now.
Yeah.
But,
Oh, it's at the show.
Yeah.
Wow.
Working its way back now.
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's something to see.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
and it moves.
Yeah. What's the beam on it? Do you know?
I don't know off the
Yeah,
top of my head.
front runner.
Yes.
It's a
Cool
big
boat.
cat.
Yep.
All I know, you will definitely see it come down. In
Oh, it's a cat?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
got to have like a 14-foot beam, probably.
I don't think it's that big though, because they
Are they trailering it?
They said they could trailer it.
Oh, so it's got to be a little under
yeah,
14.
yeah.
Yep.
But it's something to definitely see.
Well, you can
Like
come
so.
out and see it
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
Ah.
We'll have
King
it
of the
at Pro
Beach.
Marina, King of the
That's
Beach.
Yes.
Yes.
And obviously, you know, the Metropolitan Ministry is a phenomenal organization.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've
Can't
helped out
say
a lot
enough.
with the hurricane stuff too, and been feeding a lot of people. So
Yeah.
it's been amazing. So you got to keep that ball rolling because
Yeah.
come Thanksgiving, there's going to be a lot of people who need
Yeah,
it too.
we were talking about Fishing for Hope and how important Fishing for Hope will be this year. It's always the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so it'll be Saturday, November 23rd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 2609 North Rome Avenue. We'll all be there. Captain Mike Anderson, Captain Bill Miller. So a lot of people there to meet and greet while you're dropping off the food. And we were talking about how important it was going to be with the price of groceries and everybody really struggling this year. And then Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton happened. And now on top of everything that people are going through, it's even more important.
Well,
So,
it's exponentially.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean,
So-
and it's a toy drive too. What's been interesting to me is, like I said earlier, we had 14 staff members who lost a lot,
Lot.
either their home, their car, and all their possessions, or some of them lost a car or their possessions, or a mix, you know. But I was talking to one of them, and she had left and then stayed with her family, and her family she was staying with got flooded too, and they have a young child, and he lost all his toys.
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's like the toy drive aspect of
It's just as
Fishing
important as
for
the
Hope.
food too.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids lost all their toys. They need some
Yeah.
some relief.
I
And
mean,
it was
I have a
even-
3 and a 5-year-old, and I know what happens when they lose one toy.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine them losing all their
All their
toys.
toys,
It's just, it's heartbreaking, for sure.
It is, and that's what, you know, I mean, that's what the community here has been doing, and I think it's phenomenal to see everybody that has come together.
Yeah.
Dylan, you personally have, you know, you were putting stuff out there immediately about, hey, this is what's going on, because people don't know,
Yeah.
you know, just like everybody wanted to flood the beaches right away. You can't get out there yet. It's not safe.
Mhm.
I mean, I think
Nowadays.
Madeira Beach had 22 fires
Yeah.
in a week,
Yeah.
you know, after the storms went through.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, you know, and like I said, those drives and the things that are going on. We did trunk or treat. We gave away what? How much candy did we give away in Madeira Beach?
400 pieces of candy.
I mean, it was
in
insane.
2 hours.
Yeah, it was like, but
Me
to
and my
see-
dad started one of those fires, by the way.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, I was in the back, and I'm like, Dad, what are you doing? He has a crowbar on an electrical line. He was like, yeah, this electrical line's stuck up here. Help me out. So we're crowbarring apart this
Oh,
piece of
yeah.
wood that had crimped this electrical line. I'm like, Dad, as I'm holding the crowbar, wrenching on it. I'm like, this probably isn't smart. And before I could finish the word smart, it went and sparked and just it was scary.
Yeah.
And
My
it's
life
weird
flashed
stuff.
before my
Yeah,
eyes.
but it's weird stuff like that. You don't even think about it. Like, you know, even we got a trailer from Madeira today that's for one of our bars, and like, oh, we're just gonna plug it in. I'm like, no, it was underwater.
Yep.
Can we
Don't
check?
plug it
yeah,
in.
can we check the circuits first? Can we? So it was, but like I said, people don't think about that. But I said, fish. The
Fishing for Hope is super
Yeah.
important. Anything, to do to help our community right now. Simple ways, like I said, support your local businesses, eat local, come out and hang with us next week.
Yeah.
Come support that.
And what we were talking about earlier, there's the message of some people are like, hey, don't come down here. We're devastated. Tourists would be in the way. It's like one of the things that frustrates me is there's also people, like I said, 14 staff members who lost everything at Hubbard's. Those people need to work.
They need
They
to go
do
to work.
Because if they aren't able to work, they aren't able to recover from all their loss. So we need to get our staff members back to work. And the only way we can get our staff members back to work is if
Book
you
a
come
trip.
down.
There.
You come down and book a trip or
We
come
sell
out dolphin
sand.
watching.
That's right.
Yeah,
we sell sand
yeah,
And water.
exactly.
and water. Yeah,
Come on,
you know.
and water.
But I mean,
And some drinks and some
yeah,
food.
but no, but I mean, our beaches are there. It's coming back. It's coming back. Like
And
you said, way faster.
way
than we
faster.
thought.
There's a lot of hotels. There's a lot of
Yeah,
bars.
lot,
There's places
yes.
to stay.
There
Yes.
is.
Just because the hotel that you stay in every year for the last 25 years might be damaged or might
that
not be
condo.
able to take you, or that condo.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of other condos. There's plenty of other hotels, and there's even beachfront places that are open. It's
And if you ever want to try
awesome.
something new, now's maybe the time. Because
Yeah, you might like it more. Who
might
knows?
like it more.
That's it.
Change is hard, but it's worth it.
Yes.
It's the only thing consistent, though, my friend.
Yes.
Change.
Yeah.
But-
Spoken like a very wise man.
But come see us at the King next week. We are taking sign-ups all the way through Thursday,
If
through the
you
captain's
wanted to
meeting.
fish the King, their signups are still open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We keep it open all week long, because we, let give everybody the opportunity as long as they want. And again, it's a captain's choice. We want everyone to be safe, so it's about more than fishing this round. And I rarely say it's not just about fishing, but it's a little more than fishing this round. It's about getting all of you guys out to support our community and our people. So,
So,
but we do
whether
have
you're
some.
fishing it or not, or
That's
you
right.
just want to come, either
Come
way.
share a story.
I was gonna
want
say,
you to
come
say
tell us your
about
war
it.
story. Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun with it. Cry a little, smile a little, whatever.
Drink a little.
That's right. And
That
there
helps
are.
with the crying.
Yes. But there's a couple ways to support too. Like we have our relief fund you can donate to. We have an online raffle that you can possibly win a trip to Costa Rica. Other things. We have an engine raffle going still too.
Suzuki.
It's a Suzuki engine given away. Or like I said, if you're a local and want to come out, we'd love to see you.
Awesome.
And we got a trailer from
Owens and
Owens
Sons.
and
Yes.
Sons.
Somebody's still gonna.
20.24 pound fish. Going to win a $10,000 trailer.
Dang.
And the odds are much better this round because
There's less boats.
Less boats. I hate to say there's less boats, but there's less boats.
So it's like I said, it's just a community thing, and like we weren't thinking about it, and then like once we got bombarded and we started seeing people and started getting out, and it was just you got to do it, you got to do it, you got to do it.
There you go.
So
Now
here
you're
we
doing
are.
it.
We're answering again. We're answering the call, I guess, if you will. And we love to listen to our anglers. We love to listen to the community. Visit St. Pete and visit St. Pete Clearwater. Phenomenal people over there. We've
Great
got
stuff.
their
Oh, yeah.
stage.
They got us a stage.
They got us a
Hey.
stage.
We're the
there.
first people that they're gonna let us use
That's
too.
it. First
Nice.
time
Yeah.
ever. It's premier.
Yeah.
Premier.
And they're going to let us drag kingfish across it.
They're gonna let you get it all salty.
Yes.
That's
We're
awesome.
going to break it in right for them. So it's just, it's cool. It's going to be different, obviously, and that's part of it. Like I said, when I wrote that, it was, hey, we're going old school. We started in Krabby Bill's parking lot. Way back in the
remember
day.
that.
I fished it then. I wasn't, part of the organization at that point, but I mean, I was a member. But, if I could put up a big top tent, I would have done it. But Pro Marine's parking lot is brand
Brand
new.
new. We didn't
So
really
no
want.
big top tent.
No
No
drilling
big
into
top
the-
tent,
the-
but I was hoping
pavement.
that, but it's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
I
come
mean,
see
we're going
us.
to have fun.
That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
That's all. The bottom line is we're gonna have fun.
Well, hopefully we'll see you this week, November 7th for the captain's meeting, November 9th for the fishing day, and with us out on the docks, out on the trips. We've got all our trips running this week. It looks really good tomorrow. Tuesday looks pretty good. Wednesday, Thursday might get a little nautical depending on this weather outlook, but it's going to calm down Friday and be beautiful this upcoming weekend. So hopefully you'll get a chance to come out and see us. Don't forget to vote. Voting is open, and Tuesday is the last day to vote. You want to make sure you vote yes on 2. We've been talking about this for a year and a half. Hopefully, you guys all know by now we should be voting yes on Amendment
Vote
2
yes.
for Florida voter. We want to make sure we make what is now a statutorily protected privilege to hunt and fish a constitutional right, and that's simply all this does. Take it from a statutorily protected privilege, moves it to a constitutional right. You didn't wait for your home to get ransacked and burglarized before you installed front door locks, right? You have locks in your home for a reason. It's a preventative measure. That's what voting yes does, is it prevents future attacks on our rights to hunt and fish. So let's put a lock on the front door of fishing. Make sure you vote yes on 2. And then also pay attention in the next couple days. We're going to have some announcements coming for our end of season party with Mike's Weather Page. Mike's Weather Page is throwing a big event at Tampa Bay Brewing Company, and we're going to be a part of that. And I'm super excited about that. That guy, OMG, it's Wix, is going to be the DJ, the host. I'm so excited.
Whoa,
Oh,
that's
can't
that
wait.
is going to be
That's
fun.
Can't wait
fun.
to meet him. Mike Boylan from Mike's Weather Page is a great dude, but OMG, it's Wix is going to be awesome.
He's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Funny,
dude.
funny
Yourself a
cat.
nice ice cold reef
He has a
on.
bejeweled Publix fried chicken
Yeah.
box.
Yeah.
It's so
That's
awesome.
so cool.
Well, Mike and Wix just released a video like a week ago.
Yeah, they do videos together a lot. It's pretty
About
funny.
ABC Liquor.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
Yes.
So that'll be a good event. Make sure you stay tuned for that. And we'll see you for Fishing for Hope as well. And thank you guys for coming on tonight.
Thanks
for having
us. Yeah.
Being a part of the show.
We appreciate your support all the time.
Appreciate you guys. And appreciate you guys in our supporters group. The supporters after show will be probably 8:55. 8:55 we'll start the supporters after show. Remember, it's only $4.99 a month. Hopefully you can join us for that. You get access to the private group, the private after show, and more behind the scenes communication and deals. So check out the supporters group. Think about becoming a supporter today, and hopefully we'll have our stars back next week. We're still working with Facebook on that, so I appreciate y'all's patience with that. And then finally, tell your friends about the show every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Hopefully we'll see you again next week. And now, let's find out who won the 39-hour fishing trip for one lucky winner. That 39-hour giveaway is brought to you by our friends over at Innovative Pools and Spa. They've been in business for over 35 years. They've got an incredible legacy of building pools in the Tampa Bay area, and they're continuing that legacy of their father's company, which was recognized as a top pool builder in the Bay Area for over 30 years. Plus, they are continuing to raise the bar on pool construction, design, and features, and they have a special fall sale running right now, $49.95. You can get a brand new pool with 72 foot of perimeter, 14 by 28 foot. There's 5 different designs to choose from. You get automated pool equipment, LED lights, smart systems. It's really, really cool. You can't beat that. Less than $50K, brand new pool.
I need their
It's a
number.
killer
I was
deal.
going to say, we
right?
need the number.
Yeah, right. It's a killer deal on a pool, up to 5 foot of depth. Innovative Pools and Spa. Check them out at innovativepoolandspa.net or give them a call today at 727-788-1650 and tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you. All right, with that, let's find out who won our 39-hour fishing trip for one lucky winner. Lucky winner of the 39-hour is Eddie Rod. I got that one too.
Nice.
I'm on a roll
You
tonight.
can't have, Rod.
Eddie Rod.
I mean, that's perfect for a
and a New
39
York
trip.
Yankees
Yeah.
logo. I mean, he's bold. It's
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
most hated team in the MLB
Yeah,
right
man,
now.
that was
Did you see what happened with that fan?
that
That was
horrible.
crazy.
Yeah. And now they're saying they're going to have their own podcast, and they're actually promoting them.
Oh, wow.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wow, that's really bold.
yeah. I can't
Nothing like being.
I grew up in Philadelphia, And I mean, there's some stuff that goes on at like Philly games.
I'm not a
and
big
the Eagles.
baseball guy, but that was pretty crazy.
You could have broke that guy's arm.
Yeah.
Like he could have been done.
Yeah.
You know?
Nuts.
Just crazy. I just, I understand getting excited about sports, but that was too much.
So congrats, Eddie. You've won a 39-hour fishing trip, and we've accosted your favorite sports team.
At the same time.
You got a 2-for-1 deal.
I started it. But
It's like one of our biggest rivals for the Rays. I mean, that in Boston, really, ironically, which is weird, but
yeah, exactly. So it was warranted.
That's it.
Y'all have a good night. Tight lines. Thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. We'll see you next week for another episode every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Thanks for watching, y'all. And thanks for coming.
Thank you.